Welcome to Movie and a Beer, everybody. Hey, this is Dan, and we have a really amazingly cool, interesting episode that we're going to share with you. And we have a couple of awesome co-hosts and friends hanging out.
You got Blake, your play expert. Did you guys know that Death of a Salesman was a play?
Really?
Crazy, yeah.
Didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Amazing.
I'm a terrible expert.
Arthur Miller.
Who?
Mm-hmm.
Arthur Miller.
Who? I'm a bad expert.
Fair enough. Hey, everybody. This is Brian. I'm your jazz expert.
Jazz. All right, so we just watched an amazing
La La
period
Land.
piece. No, called Hedda. This is a really interesting film that was actually made a couple of years ago. Recently was distributed on streaming media platforms. You can find it on Amazon Prime currently, but in the future, who knows where it'll be available. So this is Nia DaCosta's modernization, or trying to manipulate and change up the story a little bit of a play called Hedda.
The IMDb has it as the basic introduction. Henrik Ibsen's renowned stage drama from 1891 is reimagined in an epic and emotional way.
Yes. So we noticed as we were watching this, so Accents takes place period piece in England, because you can tell that because when the car pulls up, the steering wheel's on the wrong side. So we're like, okay, we're going to assume. They don't explain a lot. The setting is just you're plopped into it and the story is told.
Which feels like a play, but before we get too into the discussion of the film, should we touch on the beers?
Oh, yeah. So we knew what we were going to watch ahead of time. A little teaser. And earlier this afternoon, I stopped by Hollywood Liquor, which is down in Southeast Portland on Sandy. And I was looking for something because I knew this was a period piece. I was like, we need something dark. We haven't done a stout in a while. And I saw this Threshold Brewing and Blending stout that looked really, really interesting. It's not an imperial or a big stout. It's not a pastry stout because it's not super sweet. It would be classified as a milk stout because they did add lactose to it. And this is called, let's make sure I name it correctly. So it's Jackknife Tiramisu Milk Stout. That was the second beer we had. The first beer we actually had was also really interesting. Did a can art pick off the shelf on that one, and it was from Loowit Brewing, and it was a Rosas Especial Mexican lager. And I know this film was about history, and the can art kind of fit the attitude and the style, the setting and the style. Yeah. Even though it takes place in England and not in Mexico, but you can still get the drama. You can still get the flair that's being presented.
I never watched any telenovela, so I don't know the terminology to use.
Yeah.
But listener, pretend I did and think of how clever and hilarious I was being.
Yeah, so set in early 20th century England. So Hedda recently married within a year an up-and-coming professor who's a writer, and I don't know what kind of professor.
Well, he's up for professorship.
Yeah.
He's working to get there.
He's up for tenure. He's probably an associate professor
okay.
of maybe literature, creative writing, English, something like that.
I love this movie, but I realized that my critical thinking and high-end movies watching skill has drooped. And so for the first 30 minutes, I kept asking the guys, like, what's going on? Who is this? What's happening?
Yeah.
I felt like my mother.
No special effects, straight up just acting on scene. If you've seen Downton Abbey or any of the period pieces associated to that, this fits in really close to that, even though it's actually, they have telephones. So we were kind of thinking 1920s era.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly when this film is. Mm-hmm. I think it's a safe bet that it's intended to be between the wars.
Yeah.
Kind of jazz age, Great Gatsby, kind of. There are people referred to as being bohemians.
Bohemians
there's some new ideas about human sexuality and race relations. Mm-hmm. And of course, all of these themes are touched on in the film.
Of course.
I would say this film thematically may be about female empowerment, perhaps.
And how evil they can be to each other.
And how it's thwarted by both the male hierarchy and also women self-sabotaging to some extent. I don't want to get too intellectual because I think there's probably a really good feminist critique of this film.
I would believe that. Yeah.
And I'm not the authority to do that.
Well, I am. So women need to be. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I think
I panicked immediately.
Well, so this was, I don't know if the actual, and we had some discussions as we were watching this. So this is based off of a play.
Yes.
And none of us,
by Henrik Ibsen, who was a Swedish playwright.
Yeah. So I don't think
Russian
any of us.
playwright.
I'll tell you right now, I work at IKEA. I'll just make the call. He's Swedish.
Okay.
We claim it.
But what, late 19th century, maybe?
Yeah. So we don't have any reference because I don't think any of us have any exposure to that. So we don't know.
I have seen a play. It was The Lion King, and it was amazing.
We've seen plays. I think all of us have had exposure to theater and stage productions. It's just knowing what the original is versus what the director has chosen to modify it to. We noticed we had a discussion about the music selection.
The music
what
seemed,
they were doing.
What's that term when the music doesn't match the era?
Anachronistic.
Yeah.
Because I went the same thing. I was running Eat the Reich for our home D&D group, and I was playing a lot of like Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart for a 1943, fight Nazis game, and the term came up, and I just wanted to brag about this game I ran. It was really fun.
Yeah. So,
the music was very.
So there's a lot of kind of free jazz, which is a little bit later than the movie actually is.
That it takes place.
And there was one specific song that Björk covered, which dates from 1948.
Correct.
And I think that's a little late for what the actual movie is.
Correct. Yeah.
But was that okay? But was that diegetic? Was that song like in the scene? Like
yes, it was part of the scene. There was a jazz combo playing for the party.
Right. So
they played that song.
Pretty much all the music was in the scenes except for the sound cue. I can't recall.
There was a lot of background.
It was a mix of both. There was a jazz combo at the party. So this was a big dinner party that becomes kind of hedonistic and out of control.
Chaotic.
And Great Gatsby-ish.
It's like any kind of college house party you go to where if you show up too late, you're not going to have any beer and people are going to be getting crazy.
Yeah, they've already gotten drunk and they're doing fun things like let's go for a swim.
Which I liked how the movie kept showing us the key players having their drama and their lives unfold. Meanwhile, we cut to this party of people just having a good time, having and
it's progressing how every big, slightly out of control house party progresses.
It's like a fire given no means to stop. It just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of, I want to say, give and take that you can, as you're watching the film, because we literally watched the first 30 seconds of the trailer.
I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, Brian and I did before, and just to get an idea of the period it was in.
Leave me out of the trailer watch.
We didn't watch the whole trailer because we wanted to kind of go in blind because I had read some really great reviews of this movie. It's just like, hey, this is like what movies used to be, where it's acting driven, story.
Great story, great fundamental camera blocking and camera work and directing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal cinematography choices. I noted frosted glass at the beginning and end of the film that I pointed out oh, hey, do we think this is related? Yeah, I think it is. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Brian, on a scale of 1 to 10, how many robots punching robots were in this?
0.
Boom, nailed it.
Yeah, this was just straight acting.
No CGI at all.
Yeah. So
we hardly any effects. The ones that were there were practical. And they were
fireworks.
A couple guns going off.
Yeah, and so with the guns going off, and we've had some horrible things happen in Hollywood recently about accidents with guns and stuff. And I'm sitting here going, if I was that actor on the stage or that actor in the film, in those scenes, and I would be so concerned about that because it's a blank, but do you trust the person that's been handling it to give you the gun to because she points it at a bunch of people.
The two scenes where the gun actually goes off, she's clearly pointing it away from the person, and that's intentional in the movie.
Also, the one aimed upwards.
Yeah, the one that's aimed upwards that brings the chandelier down.
Which was amazing visual. That might have been CGI.
Really?
Oh, really?
The chandelier shattering on the ground.
Because it seemed like it completely shattered.
Well, it looked really smooth out, demolished, and
I mean, it was beautiful. It was a stunning visual.
I'm the kind of film goer who will watch a movie like Transformers and go, man, it's crazy they got those robots on this planet.
Yeah.
So I just watched this chandelier shatter thinking, that's really cool. They got that exact right shot. I wonder how many times I just didn't think of CGI at all.
The storyline is based on this woman who marries someone who is a professor and trying to get tenure and trying to get that real job.
Hedda Gabler is played by Tessa Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like me, you know her from the Thor Ragnarok and Love and Thunder and films, marrying George Tesman, but they make a point about saying her maiden name a lot.
Yeah.
But Tom Bateman plays George Tesman.
So I think that they had met. She's like, oh, I can use you to get what I want. And he's actually it's hinted at that when her friends, so this is their coming out party. So they got married, and obviously there wasn't or if there was a wedding.
This is their return from honeymoon.
This is their
which
6
was
months.
6 months.
Yes.
And he spent it researching, and she spent it maybe being bored.
Yeah, being bored of doing whatever she wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how I can manipulate these people because I don't really...
It's implied that she married him for money and station.
And status, yeah.
And perhaps to follow what she's supposed to be doing, but she was previously a lesbian. Is that fair to say?
She might still be. Like, honestly, watching the film, I would categorize her as bisexual. Like, she is clearly, she's not
taking advantage of any situation in front of her.
She doesn't really seem that attracted to any man in the film. She might just be, again, as a cis male, I can't really make the claim, but it feels that way from how they portray her character, her actions with a male and female presenting characters. Yeah, I think, wow, I'm realizing this is a really, really good movie.
There are a lot of layers to this film.
Yeah.
And
it's a well-done film.
You could watch it looking to decipher just one theme of many.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on, including plots and, hey, her husband needs to get this job, but one of her former lovers who shows up...
Eileen Lovborg, L-O-V-B-O-R-G, played by Nina Haas.
So she wrote a book, got some clout, but she was a hot mess. And now that she found somebody who's willing to help her write,
and she's been 3 months sober.
Correct.
It's a key point of the plot.
And of course she doesn't,
and she's also up for the same professorship that Hedda's husband is.
And
so they're in direct competition.
She didn't know that. She didn't know that until that evening. And that's what kind of triggered her to do all these weird stuff.
That's when we started getting the sound cue that I picked up on for once. With this almost like knife sharpening shing kind of sound. I appreciated that every time you see her, the camera focuses on her alone.
And her being Hedda, not the other writer.
Correct.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Focusing on Hedda, Tessa Thompson's character. You get this shing sound. You see her just not blank face, but just clearly internalizing something, and then goes and does whatever plot she's cooking.
Plotting.
Yeah, lots of twists and turns.
The shing is associated with her plotting her next move.
So I'm
digging this film. I really like this.
So part of it is it's an estate. The husband, it's basically like an Airbnb at this point. Like they bought it, but they only hired the help for one evening for this party.
They have one solid help, which we will talk about when we get into the comparisons from this.
They're trying to throw the party to show how well off they are.
Correct.
And also get the husband's tenured professorship.
Yeah.
Yes,
his sealed.
His boss is showing up. They're trying to impress him. They want to really make a good impression. It's like any 50s TV sitcom trope of, honey, we have to make sure we impress my boss. Like, I burned the roast. Oh no! Yeah. Except instead of a roast, it's I'm trying to make out with everyone else at this party and firing guns.
Yeah, and a lot of what I would imagine period piece wise, specific to that era, and this was brought up many times. It's like there's no judgment. Like anybody's doing anybody, everybody's doing everybody, and like the professors. There's a scene in like the third or the fourth act. So there's 5 acts. There's actual cards that just like a blank screen with a number on it.
A bumper? Is that what those are called?
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, or
like it just breaks it up because it's like they're portraying
intertitles.
They're portraying a play that has multiple acts, and so you are able to define very specifically what happens in each of those parts and how it pushes the story forward, which is really nice. And this is a very story-driven and character-driven. The character arcs, you learn a little bit about their history, but they only in conversation.
Oh, yeah.
There's no flashbacks.
No, it takes place over one night.
It takes place
just
in one
like
night,
a play.
Just like
you
a play.
learn everything that you're going to learn on the stage.
I told Brian to say that because I'm the play expert.
Yes. And so how successful was that? I think they did a really good job. I think they nailed down the core storyline they wanted to present. The actors, everyone was bought in 100%. Like everybody did their role really, really well.
Oh, yeah.
There were a couple of scenes we had mentioned like, oh, they're pretending to be drunk, and they pretended a little too hard.
I thought they did well with that.
But the acting was really very good.
Yeah, incredible acting. Good. If they had that just thickness of working through being drunk and trying to get across a thought, Blake says as he's several beers deep, getting his thoughts across.
Well, and
I thought
and they were doing very good of trying to pretend like they're sober, but can't quite control all their movements and all their speech.
Agreed.
And also, by the time they were at that point in the party, they were all very kind of sweaty and a little disheveled, and they just didn't care anymore because they were drunk.
They did a good job of portraying just the course of the evening, people being sweatier, people like undoing ties, hair being let down. Tessa Thompson specifically had an arc of all her hair done up and tightened and
slowly coming undone.
And then like a single strand was down around the hedge maze thing, and then more hair was down, and then all of a sudden just it's all down, and she's just philosophical, psychic knives to throats, dropping people, just getting what she wants.
Yeah. So the unraveling of the character in visual cues in more than one. And that's what they do in stage productions because there's no special effects. It's just what you see on the stage and what's triggering.
You've got to visually tell how time is progressing.
Exactly. And you can use that to show just progress of the character. I was going to say moral decay, but I think Hedda's
she's already morally
she's
decayed.
Pretty decayed. Yeah, like she's comes off as when we meet her, you think, oh no, I have sympathy for this character, and as the film goes on, you realize, oh no, she's pretty terrible. I kind of don't like her.
She's very manipulative, bullying, passive aggressive and aggressive,
almost Machiavellian plots to get what she wants, which is her husband to have a job that will keep her sated.
Get her money and let her do what she wants to do. And it's known that she doesn't do anything. She doesn't have a job. She has no career. She has no ambitions other than she married for money. And all of the friends that show up, they point that out. You're doing this just for the money.
But clearly she's not happy with that. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think this is part of the dichotomy of the stage. She's both the hero and the villain. She is more in control of her own fate than anyone else in the film.
Yeah.
And I believe I read somewhere about the original play that this really is a feminist play.
Cool.
Unfortunately, in this portrayal, she's also a horrible person. So that's a debate for future ages.
Yeah.
Whether she's in control of her own fate, and to be in control, do you have to be a horrible person? I got to think about this. We just watched it. I'm going to have to think about this for
Dan,
days.
Can we pause for like 30 minutes? No, that's a really good question. That feels like a good lead in, unless we want to talk about anything else, how we were considering how this might be portrayed as a play, because I'm curious if the play version has her more sympathetic versus this version, which, before I forget, it was directed by Nia DaCosta, which I think she did a phenomenal job. I love this film, but a lot of the shots and just everything. I was wondering how would they portray this in the play. One of the key ones was the intro where we meet Hedda being interviewed from I don't know the shot terms, but just like lower, like table level from the interrogators talking to her. I imagine that was a monologue.
Just locked off, straight on.
I imagine that was on the stage, curtains closed, she's on stage giving her testimony, and then we open with the play, and she goes
house lights dim. She leaves as the curtain opens on the next scene, which she then probably enters.
Yeah, I think some of the play to film movies that I've seen don't pull it off as well as this one does.
It's a tough balance. It's a tough transition to make.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. There was no flashbacks. The whole thing is a flashback. She's telling the story. Technically, you don't know because the very end of the film is her. Well, it's catching up to that point
because it gets to that point and then shows what happens after.
Correct, and
but only briefly.
Only briefly,
right.
Yeah, and there's more drama. There's more things going on, and she has to try to cover up what she's done because there's things that she's done that she could get in a lot of trouble for, and her husband could lose his job from. And so she's like, how do I cover up the people that know that?
And you reminding me that this whole story is technically from her point of view.
Yeah.
That means what we got from her retelling was she's awful. Because
she's the victim.
What the three of us took from watching this film is she's clearly manipulative. The film portrays her as kind of I like what Brian said, villain and the hero, because she really is the antagonist and protagonist. There's not really any other person forcing her.
And everybody else is her props to tell her story.
She's trying to tell a story, and she's trying to tell it to make her not be the victim, or she is the victim.
Like,
I don't know. She's both. She's right, like, so this happened and I couldn't stop it, but it's affected me.
She is forced by societal norms to get married and work for class and status.
Which I think would feed into the feminist telling of it, is that she just wants to be with her.
She would rather be with her lesbian lover, but that's not the way she can succeed in life.
Well, because that lover's already moved on to someone else, and I got to destroy that because I'm jealous.
Because she gets to have her woman-to-woman lover. I'm screwing this up. She gets to be in an open lesbian relationship. I guess maybe it's not even open. I'm having a lot of revelations while we record, and I apologize. But she is jealous. Like, she's clearly jealous.
Yeah.
And she doesn't react well. She doesn't say, "Hey, I'm upset about this." She tries to destroy big moves.
Let me give you the gun so you can shoot yourself.
If I can't have a happy relationship, you can't either.
Correct. I'm going to go down. You're going to go down with me.
Yeah.
We even see how unhappy it is when.
And I didn't want this big house. I just said I wanted it on a whim, and look what people did.
Yeah.
But
now I have to be mean to the wait staff. Like, you don't have to be mean to her. Shut up. And she hits me. Oh, no.
I mean, we can get lost in themes and analysis forever. I want to talk a little bit about the photography.
Oh, beautiful setting.
Please.
It's worth talking about. The first thing that I noticed was most of the night, everything is colored kind of yellowish sepia, which those of us who have shot film cameras in 1980 and before.
There would be two of us, but Aaron couldn't make it. So.
Yeah. Shots taken at night under tungsten lights have this yellowish glow. And we can remember things used to be sepia toned on purpose.
Yeah.
And I think it all kind of led into this feeling of a period piece.
Very much so. Not just, because of the way that they were dressed and the way they behaved and how they treated each other. But there was a lot of visual cues like that said it very much. The music, I thought,
the car was old-timey.
The car was old-timey, but you're like, oh, they have a telephone. That's what threw me off.
I didn't think
I'm like, this is an old estate, but it has a telephone.
I was upset
we were thinking it was earlier, and the telephone definitely aged it much further. I don't know if it really made it to, it eventually felt 1930s to me.
It was wild when they started dabbing.
Yeah.
Well, the music and the dancing and the fact that, we literally paused it and looked up the music because I was like, they're doing a Bjork song. Oh, wait, Bjork covered the song, and it's a German song from 1948. So it's like post-World War II, but this takes place in the 20s. So for
with the diegetic thing, it's like supposedly late 40s.
Yeah.
Give or take.
And then there was a Cuban song, which I was just like, why are they playing a Cuban song? What the heck?
I think it was in the same vein as the Apple Dickinson show with Haley Steinfeld as Emily Dickinson, where they were playing like modern stuff to reflect. Here's what here's what people would, current era people would understand this to be. Like, it's a cotillion, so they're gonna play like songs where you throw ass and like twerk on each other.
Yeah, so
but they're all wearing like Victorian.
We're trying to communicate in something that contemporary audiences will understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Which I appreciate. I think it makes sense. I feel like the whole tone just it works for it. Like, it just felt modern, but the themes felt modern. I mean, it's because we're watching more stuff where like espionage and schemes are a thing.
So there's a lot of background music. There's a lot of dialogue and whispering and conversations that are happening.
I was catching more of the whispering and dialogue.
That is background noise as well as beats, free jazz, horns, and not always like it's if you know free jazz, it can just play whatever you want, and it gets kind of
Brian hit it.
Yeah, it gets kind of annoying.
Listeners, I'm grooving.
It's not distracting. And I think they didn't want it to be distracting. Oh, really?
But hey, Brian,
part of it came across. Some of it was a little annoying and distracting to me as I was listening and trying to figure out what it was that they were doing.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, I didn't catch it. I don't often catch background music like that. Yeah.
So the songs that were performed either by the band or just being performed as part of the scene, diegetically, like it's not part of the scene, it's outside of it. That the stuff that was in the scenes, there wasn't a lot of that. There was good sound. I am going to bitch and complain a little bit about the simple fact that the dialogue.
Yeah, I was about to mention it wasn't normalized.
Wasn't normalized, so so it dropped off.
When there was music, you couldn't hear it. You couldn't hear the dialogue over the music.
Correct. So I don't know if that was done purposely, like you would do in a play, because like they're not mic'd. If they are mic'd,
well, I feel like in a play you want to hear them. There's music, and then they'll purposely turn the music down to let you
hear what they're saying.
Because plays are usually dialogue driven.
Usually,
I'm going to make a quick argument that maybe it was on purpose, at least to some extent.
Okay.
Because there was a great attention to try to make you feel like you were a party member. You were in the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how you knew what was happening. Because there were often shots where the camera was not steady cam. It was actually handheld. And it was a little unsteady.
Really unsteady. Mm-hmm.
And that made the audio, and the shots were kind of medium to medium wide. So it felt like you were kind of over here dancing, and you just noticed Hedda's being an a-hole over there.
And you can kind of overhear some of the words they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's atmosphere. And I think they did a successful job with that. It's just when there was nothing in the background and it was just dialogue in a quiet room, great. You could hear what they were saying.
Much easier to follow it.
But there were points in time where they added that background music on top of what was happening in the scene. And that was, to me, distracting a little bit.
And I'm curious if that's what the director wanted.
It's possible.
I mean, just they wanted you to be unsure what they're saying while...
Correct.
Which goes into Brian's thing of...
But it wasn't happening in the scene, though. It was completely just soundtrack.
Oh.
It was atmospheric music for us, the viewer, and not for the people on the stage or the people that were in the movie and what they were acting. They didn't hear that. They didn't hear all of that. It was us having to hear it on top of and or behind what was actually happening.
That may be a feature of the fact that, the people are mixing these films for 7.1 surround.
Yeah, it's possible.
And they have the best well-tuned speakers in the world in a small studio set up for this.
Must be nice.
And they don't always pay attention to, okay, most people are going to watch in
2 channel. 2 to 4 channel.
3 channels.
3 channel
right, left, and center.
I mean, we watch on my phone, so
that's why it was kind of hard.
It was single mono.
I kept getting texts, but not to brag or nothing, but I kept getting texts the way Dan's complaining that we couldn't hear the dialogue.
Yeah.
I refused to turn my bringer off.
Yeah. So and that would be if anything, that would be one of it. It's not a.
I think it's a fair.
It's not necessarily a critique. It's just let's point this out because if you're going to watch this,
there were times when we lost some dialogue.
Yeah,
and it was important dialogue.
I had to like shut up. Let's rewind this. I'm like, shh. Let's go back because there was something being said by one of the main characters, and it was off screen, but you could hear their voice, and you're like, I need to hear what they're saying.
And some of the film is very subtle.
Yeah.
So if you lose a couple lines, you don't catch that subtlety.
You're that jerk in the room asking, "Hey, so what's happening now?"
Right.
AKA me.
Yeah. But so successful from an audio standpoint, except for the minor things, visually stunning.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah.
The acting was incredible.
Great.
I want to point out, I mentioned the guys here. Tessa Thompson has the perfect face for like smirking and hiding a secret. I caught it when I saw her in Thor Ragnarok, where she was Valkyrie and just kind of smirking the whole time, and realizing now it's just kind of how her cheekbones are, and it works well for just someone who says to your face, "Oh, you look lovely tonight," and then smiles, and you kind of get, as a viewer, you catch, "Oh, she's being rude." And that was a perfect casting for this role of Hedda, who's just this.
Oh, bless your heart.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm being nice, but not really.
I'm sure some of the dialogue was updated because the dialogue felt very
modern,
kind of very 20s. Dorothy Parker, witty, biting wit.
There's a lot of like, not bon mots, like just rapier wits.
Yeah,
like you're saying, very sharp jabs that if someone wouldn't catch it, then you can kind of make fun of them later, going, "Oh, he didn't catch it. I made fun of him earlier."
There were 3 or 4 one-liners or short-liners that I was like, "Oh, that's
But those felt very much of the kind of 20s, 30s age.
Yeah. And, none of us were alive back then, so we're only just extrapolating what we've seen from other movies and our basic understanding. We're not time travelers, so, who knows if society was really like that, and how boring our lives are compared to theirs, because they didn't have phones, they didn't have any way to communicate. It was just show up. Oh, hey, they had a telephone. I'm going to ring you up. And if the phone rang, she got out of the lake at the beginning of the movie to answer the phone. Like she was on purpose going to do something stupid, and she's like, "Oh, wait!
I just realized wow,
there's a phone call for you."
So suddenly, my life is important.
Correct.
Oh my god, I have to watch this again by myself.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers.
Because that doesn't, back in the day before you had instant communications everywhere, when the phone rang, you answered it. You didn't let it ring more than 4 or 5 times
unless you're
you didn't have.
Unless you're at the dinner table and your dad gets all grumpy about, why do they always call it dinner? And they stomp away and they're like,
because they know you're home and at dinner. That's why they're calling.
Well, they shouldn't be working at 8 p.m. That's rude.
I know, right?
They should be having their own evenings at home.
Yes.
Having a delicious beverage, maybe in a can or a bottle.
Yes.
And we drink beers.
We did, but there was also a lot of alcohol being consumed in this movie.
Definitely
and they mentioned
definitely some gin martinis.
Gin martinis, old fashions. There was they had filled one of the inside. Was it inside? I think it was inside.
No, it was
outside fountain with ice and beers.
Beer bottles.
I did not catch until you guys pointed it out, and made me very happy.
I was like, oh, that's funny.
That leans into their whole thing of, we're having a big old party. We're going to have a great time. It's just burn money on ice in 1940, whatever. And
which was not cheap in England. Dude. I was like, okay, yeah. So looking at, they did a very period piece thing like what Downton Abbey does. It's like we got to hear what the servants were thinking and saying, and as they were preparing, and then you had the woman of the house go around and say yes, no, and you just have to react, and you just do whatever you need to do in order to fix whatever they've pointed out. It's interesting, as you had mentioned, like you hear the background of they're literally just renting all this help for one night, except for the one person.
Oh, the one person
who's the housekeeper.
That Brian and I are certain in the play just gets a whole like spotlight monologue.
While they're changing the scene on the stage.
Yeah. Because the way the scene is shot, it's a medium focus with her on the left.
Yeah.
So you can see like action happening, and she points out, "Oh no, they only help. Like they hired them for the evening." Yeah, and just it goes for like 2 or 3 minutes.
It goes.
Well, it highlights Hedda's stakes. Like they are out of money. Her husband has to get this job, this professorship.
Yeah.
And this
this apartment, this estate is going to go away.
And part of my language, but this bitch walks in with her book.
Yeah.
Trying to take his job. My man. Snap.
Well, no, the help does say it's going to go back to the bank.
Yes, but I just wanted to mention that. I'm pretty sure in the play, there's probably like a spotlight as she's standing there with a cigarette in front, just monologuing to the audience. Oh, they don't have any money.
Right. Revealing like a
lot of backstory.
A major impetus. Motivation for the main character.
So here's why they're doing what they're doing. Like, I'm the only hope they got. Yeah. After tonight, they're done. Everyone goes home.
Yeah, she talked about.
I'm sitting here there holding my hand like I'm holding a cigarette.
There was a scene where the old lady was saying, no, this place was run down. It was a piece of junk. They came in, they bought it, they fixed it up a little bit, and they hired everybody for this one big party.
Except for the big party part, that sounds like what my parents do.
Yeah.
Here's a cute place with good bones. We'll fix it up and live here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Part of the party scene, and I've been to parties. I've never been to a big fancy one at a big house. Much. I've been to clubs. I've been to bars. I've been to house parties, but not like this.
See, Brian, don't
have y'all been to a house party like that? So, like no. big. You lived in LA at one point in time in your life. Did you ever go to any of these kind of big Hollywood parties?
Not fancy, but I lived in a house that threw huge parties.
Okay.
It was kind of like a fraternity. We had a pool.
Hey, Dan, make this a separate section of the podcast on Patreon where Brian tells us about the adventures of him and Steve's house.
We've heard stories in the past.
Yeah. Let's not broadcast it. I mean, I will say we never had a party where 3 guns went off.
It's pretty impressive.
Maybe 2.
I'm not saying.
He's not going to say. All right.
Hey, not 3.
Not sure. 3. Not for sure. Not, especially the kind that they had, which were like her father's hand-me-down from the grandfather who was a general in some military capacity.
I didn't catch that part. I realized I had to take my hoodie off or I was going to fall asleep.
It was part of where she was in the station that she started out in, which was nobody. And she's marrying up, and she kept saying, "Hey, I want my husband. Well, I'll get him into politics, and we'll." No, that requires money. You can't. You got to have the money first before you can move into any kind of station.
Yeah.
Within that society or culture at that point in time in England, but
you know what costs money?
Alcohol,
beers
do. And
we have beers.
We had beers.
We had beers.
So I think this is the time on the podcast that we might transition over to talking about the 2 beers that we had during the course of watching the film.
Whoop, whoop.
There's a lot to be said for just picking beers out that the brewery and you've not had or had experienced or sampled these beers before, and you're just like, let's just go for it. As mentioned before, we had 2. We had one from Loowit, which was, and I don't know if it necessarily went really, really well, but it was a nice, gentle.
Oh, I'm going to get into it.
Okay. Mexican style lager especial. And this is ROSAS. So Rosas. I don't know how to say that appropriately, so I apologize. But Loowit Brewing Company, they're out of downtown Vancouver, Washington. They've been around a while. We've done some other beers from them in the past. This was a very interesting light, traditional corn-based lager, adjunct-based, very clean, 4.3%, very light and clear. It had a pretty decent head that did have some good retention. The grains were kind of sweet in their approach. Again, like you got hints of corn. And then the hops that they used gave it a little bit of a citrus hit. It wasn't super hoppy or bitter. It was just kind of really clean and light. So smooth and balanced from my perspective. It was not too sweet, not too dry, just kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I didn't get any lime kick off of it. I got the balance of the sweet. Like I liked it. I love a Mexican lager. I will always love a Mexican lager. I love a corn-based beer. This is good. I didn't get any lime off of it though.
So that was maybe me projecting the fact that I wanted to put a lime in it to make it feel more
lime
authentic.
Is what makes it a Mexican lager.
Correct.
That's just science.
And they do that to keep the flies away. They don't the gnats and
Dan, that's why I always have chopsticks with me so I can catch the flies away from my Mexican lager.
All right.
I've got to say, it wasn't quite as sweet as I expected for a Mexican lager.
Correct. A little more dry. Really? A little balanced.
Yeah,
so it was balanced.
A little drier. Yeah.
So did it go with the movie?
No. It was a fine beer. I'm not dissing the beer, but it it did not belong.
No, yeah, this would have been better with like a Super Troopers or like a romantic comedy, something lighter, like something more light in content and subject matter. This is a very heavy, densely acted film.
Or The Magnificent Seven or The 100 Rifles, like a good Western down along the border.
Especially the Good, Bad, the Ugly, maybe.
Yeah, yes.
So if we were to pull,
I mean, I'll tell you what I would suggest for this film after the second beer, but. Yeah,
let's do the second beer and then we'll talk about the.
Right. So good beer, maybe not right for this movie. Again, it was like I did it from the can art. The can art has
does look like what the movie feels like.
It is like you did an old picture that was painted by somebody that works at the brewery.
But it looks like it looks faded by time and sun.
Yeah, it's a really nice and a pleasant beer. Just not necessarily for a period piece like this.
Absolutely. It was really tasty. I'd drink it again.
Check them out.
I was stoked when Dan offered up the fourth can. I thought, hell yeah, this is tasty.
Let's split that up.
Yes, please.
All right. Find something else besides that. Or just, maybe
the second beer?
Maybe the second. Find a couple of, you had mentioned sour or a Saison or something that you could sip slowly. We'll talk about that in a minute. So what we are going to do, though, we're going to talk about this Jackknife Tiramisu, which is a dessert-inspired milk stout from Threshold Brewing and Blending. This is 6.7%. These are tall boy cans. Again, these were purchased over at Hollywood Liquor. You can find Threshold in a lot of finer grocery stores. They self-distribute, I think, still. They're still pretty small. They're located out on 83rd or maybe 84th and Stark, Southeast. They're in the Montevilla neighborhood. They're over there by Montevilla Brewing as well. They're about a block away from them. Check them out. A small hole-in-the-wall place, but they do a lot of community stuff. They did have a patio during COVID, and then post-COVID, I think they still have their patio out front where there's no traffic, so you can sit out there.
Threshold is one of those businesses, as someone who is very vocal about supporting your local, I love to support these guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely check them out if you're able to.
So you had mentioned when we poured this that, this is nice. It's sort of rich on the nose a little bit, but not overtly.
I've been Brian. You're looking at me. I'm like, I didn't say anything about this.
Okay. So this is adjacent. This is a milk stout. So it's got lactose in it, which is helping with the tongue coating and the mouthfeel.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily add sweetness. It says tiramisu, so it's actually more bitter from the chocolate perspective than sweet. That was my take on it. So it's more of a dry, bitter cacao, I guess, as my safe word would be.
I didn't, classic Portlandia bit. I didn't get any bitter. I got all sweet. I was pleasantly surprised by this beer. I took it, I saw it and thought, oh yeah, of course it's going to be dark. I guess it'll be a fine. I'm 50-50 on milk stouts. But as I took a sip, I thought, all right, this is actually pretty good.
Coffee and vanilla? Like a nice coffee with
definitely got vanilla. For sure vanilla. A little bit of coffee.
I felt it was reminiscent of chocolate milk or a Yoo-hoo.
Yeah. I was leaning more towards that.
Yeah, I got some like brown sugar and maybe even just so there's a hint.
Got some brown sugar. I just didn't get any bitter at all.
Chocolate milk was a beer, so kind of a little watery, more watery.
Boy.
I was looking for one of your old favorite, from
who does that?
From Sun River.
Cocoa Cow.
Yeah, I was looking for that and I didn't find it.
That genuinely tastes like a chocolate milk. It's
scary.
Next time I find some, I'll hold on to it so I can share with you.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of interesting beers out there that they literally are so lactose forward. It tastes like chocolate milk because they either do really sweet or this is a dry bitter cocoa and no coffee at all. So it just like, this isn't beer. This tastes really good.
I feel like
this is a beer that tastes like reminiscent of chocolate milk. Maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah. Agreed. I feel like it matched the movie a little better. It kind of matched the decadent hedonism of the vibe of the party. This tastes like something someone at that party would say, makes me have something that tastes sweet, and then go run off and go bang in the hedge and come back and get like
and drink whatever's on the bar, whether it was made for them or not.
Yeah, that happened. They showed that where like someone would just walk by and grab a drink, and you're just like, okay. Well,
and it was actually a half drunk gin with cigarettes in it
or something.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Good. But I think this beer flavor profile matched the movie better. Just
better.
There's more going on. There's more. I feel like in the beginning, maybe something something more less beer, just like a wine or a liquor. If you're gonna go beer for the first part of the movie, maybe an IPA or a saison.
Yeah, I think
something more like singularly strong flavor. And then for the back half where the party's raging and things are really coming to a head with like the main characters and the protagonists all coming to a head, like a more flavor complex drink like this beer.
Yeah.
This beer was perfect for the back half.
Yeah, I was looking for something maybe soury or whatever, but I was like, let's keep it simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even if you're not into this kind of stout or the style of beer, you can certainly find something that is going to be lighter, that gives you and you're going to want to sip. So get something that changes and gets better as it warms up.
Also remind the people at home, should I drink this beer directly out of the fridge?
No, you should.
What?
So typically your normal refrigerator is between 36 to 42 degrees, and that's going to be way too cold. Now, I have my little mini beer fridge over here that is not anywhere close to that cold.
You won't stop bragging about that
mini fridge. For the Milk Stout, not necessarily the Mexican lager.
Correct. The Mexican lager you want cold.
But leave under your car as your car is running.
Yes. So stouts and porters, you typically want to let warm up to what's called tepid, so between 45 or 47 and 50 to 52 degrees, so below room temp.
So
but not warm.
So for an average person who won't do all that work, 10 to 15 minutes out of the fridge?
Yeah, so take it out of the fridge, out of a standard refrigerator, let it sit for 5 to 10, open it up, or you can open it up right away and just let it sit in. So I would suggest letting it warm up in the can or the bottle first and then open it up, because then it won't go flat. Because the intention is, so when you pour this, it also, when it warms up, you're also going to probably get a little bit better head effervescence when it pours, and you're going to be able, again, the foam is where you're going to get all the aromatics. You're going to, it's going to open up and express a lot more on the tongue. You definitely want to experience that with this beer, because it did express really, really well.
It was a wonderful beer. Like, I was a little concerned seeing the can art and think I don't like
it's a giant slice of tiramisu.
Yeah. What's the one I don't like? The
super sweet beer.
Yeah.
No.
What was that style I don't like that you and Deb are big into? The smoothie
style?
So
there's smoothie beers, but
I can't stand those. I was really concerned this would be similar to it. But as soon as I took a sip, I thought, okay, this is fine. It's liquidy like a beer. It has a sweet taste, but it's not overwhelming. I really liked it. So I would drink this like on my own.
Creamy and smooth, really, really gentle mouthfeel. The aromatics are there, start to finish. I think it actually didn't really change a whole lot as it warmed up some. It did get a little bit more rounded on the tongue and kind of sat a little bit longer, which is a good thing. It dried out a little bit more as it warmed up. Overall, this is a really amazingly good, well done beer. I applaud those guys out at Threshold for doing it right, because a lot of the beers, not everything's 100% on point, but they are more often than not.
You hear that, Threshold? Watch yourselves. Yeah. Brian, how did you feel about it?
I thought that this beer was great.
Nice.
I wouldn't drink this again with this film.
Interesting.
I mean, honestly, I think the filmmakers tried to make you part of the party. I think you should have a gin martini with an olive for the first half, and a vodka martini with an onion for the second half.
There you go. That can be arranged.
Onion.
Yeah. I don't drink hard liquor, so I can, but I don't really do it that often. And I just, you'd want to do something associative with what they're doing on screen. So
next April Fool's Day, 2 to 3 of us will drink liquor while Dan drinks a beer.
A nice blended cheap scotch on the rocks would also work, and just nurse that all through the film.
Because there was a scene where the competition to her husband was sitting there asking the guys, she went to go talk to them in their private study.
That's right.
What do you want? And they all said old fashions, and she said 3 gin martinis coming up. She's like, I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you what I want.
Which I thought was very funny.
Power
and
grab.
Then quickly realized, oh no, this is because she's just belligerent and it's going to become a problem. Oh no.
Yeah. And that's part of it too. Yeah. So
I also like gin, so I'd be into it.
Yeah. I mean, and there was olives in every one of them, I think. They had their little daggers.
We got that little shot of Hedda like eating one while the shing happened, and she's watching things
while
unfold.
She's thinking, while she's trying to get the next move in.
Chess. She's playing 4D chess.
Very Machiavellian.
All right. So any other thoughts on this great film?
I would absolutely recommend it to anyone who likes just well-acted drama. Like, this was I love this movie. I had to reset my brain because I've been watching a lot of garbage lately just for fun. And this has been a nice reset to go, oh, right, there's film.
Yeah, this is a really good film, really good story, really good acting, really good art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. I would call it art as well. Yeah,
yeah. You're not going to see a lot of. It's not for your action buffs.
Nah,
no,
they're going to be bored.
And you don't want to
if you want to think.
Yeah, don't put it on. Film. Don't put it on as a background movie to chit chat through. You want to hear what's going on.
You want to watch it.
We all got excited. And we're talking occasionally and have to rewind once in a while because we'd missed key dialogue.
Yeah. So date night movie? Possible?
Maybe, depending on if your partner's into a slow boiling drama.
I mean, if you like Knives Out, if you like
I don't know
Abbey,
if this is the same vibe as Knives Out.
If you like Downton Abbey,
Knives Out is more cheeky, like whodunit kind of vibes. This is more like
if you've got a partner who wants to spend a half hour and talk about it afterwards, this is a great date movie.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But if you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, if you want to go out and have a coffee afterward and talk about it, great.
Yeah.
You want to Netflix and chill.
If
Amazon Prime and bang.
Yes, or whatever it is.
Yeah. If you want to fall asleep during the last half, it's probably do something else.
Yeah. Check it out if you can.
I'd recommend it.
Totally. Yes, absolutely.
Six
thumbs up.
I enjoy slow burners. I enjoy it when you don't know how it's going to end. You think you know how it's going to end, but you don't. There's some nice plot twists and turns. Yeah. And again, she's trying to manipulate everybody to get what she wants, and it doesn't always work out. And she has to then deal with the consequences of her actions.
Yeah.
So good, well done movie.
Absolutely.
No complaints. We have water on the table.
You don't hydrate, you're going to dehydrate. Bang, bang, bang.
All right. Close enough.
Don't know, man.
All right. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. And, as always.
You're welcome, Dan.
Yeah. The opinions expressed during the taping of this recording are those of the hosts. And check this film out. Check it out with some interesting things to drink if you do. Drink some water if you do. Or just drink some water. It's all good either way.
Yeah.
Because they go for a swim and you cool off and you take a minute to just relax in the scene while it goes insane and crazy around you.
This is Blake telling our listeners, kick your guests out before you're done for your house party.
That's good advice.
And this is Brian saying, just once in your life, have a crazy party where you don't remember the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Those are dangerous.
Hey, Dan, what are you going to say to sign off?
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you on the next episode.